This is the Podcraft Podcast. This is episode 2 for Monday, July 27th, 2020. Today we'll feature Portland's Great Notion Brewing Company. This is the Podcraft Podcast, where we talk about craft beer from Southern California and beyond. This is your host, Chris. Your other host, Charlie. This is episode 2 for Monday, July 27th, 2020. Today we'll feature Portland's Great Notion Brewing Company. We got 2 beers. Charlie will introduce one, and I'll introduce one. But before that, feel free to give us a follow at the Podcraft, or at the Podcraft on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Hit our webpage, thepodcraft.com, or feel free to reach out to us at thepodcraftpodcast@gmail.com with any questions or suggestions.
Sweet.
On that note, Charlie, what's going on this week? Have any good beers?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I did. I had a beer from Pure, a different beer from Pure than we did last week, but it was the Trips on Dubs.
Ah, yes.
Had a Modern Times Mocha Stout, was it?
That Monster Park with mocha.
Yeah. That was delicious.
I missed out there.
And then some Humble Sea. I had some Send It, which was outstanding. Big fan of that. Big fan.
I like it.
They make some good beers up there.
I like it. For me, I had a couple beers this week, a couple IPAs, a couple sours, but I think the top for me would have been Reality Maze Coconut Shake Edition from Modern Times.
Thanks for
phenomenal.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no problem. You know, it's always available. I usually tell you that I had a beer 4 days after I've had it.
A good one too.
But no, you're always welcome.
Well, it was interesting. I also bumped into Mike Moss at JP's place, and he said he's willing to come on this show and speak with us, which is a daring adventure on his part.
So he didn't listen to the first episode.
No, he must not have.
Oh, very well. That's great. Victim number 1.
Yeah, and I think he could probably get Jeff to come with him. I mean, that would be, perfect.
That'd be perfect. Yeah,
have both the owners here and the brewer. So that would be great, and would definitely love to see those guys and speak with them about their beers, specifically their beers.
Yes.
But heck, we could even ask them if if they like anything other than their beers.
Yeah, no, that'll be great. We'll definitely touch on that, and look forward to having those guys with us in the future.
And we are celebrating the fact that we did complete our first podcast. So thanks, Steve.
Yeah, no,
all due to you.
You're welcome.
Steve definitely had his work cut out for him this week. We'll try to.
Yeah, we'll fix everything up.
Yeah, we'll clean it up a little bit.
Clean it up just a little.
Quite as sloppy as last time. Anyways,
I like it. So so this week's brewery, the Great Notion.
It is a great notion.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. Great Notion is based in Portland, Oregon. Started by 3 homebrew friends. They all lived on the same street. Neighbors back in...
Lucky guys.
They opened their brewery in January of 2016. So I question you, Charlie, what are you and your neighbors doing?
Nothing.
That's what I thought.
I got nothing.
That's what I thought.
I'm drinking beers. That's what I'm doing. I'm drinking their beers is what I'm doing.
I agree. You started a podcast.
Yeah,
with,
just to make it so I could drink more beer.
I
have a beer fund now that has expanded. My wife doesn't understand that, or appreciate it, but it's got to happen. You got to go out and get the beer to drink the beer, right?
I agree. Research now. It's research.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very scientific about it. I go, I get, I drink.
I like it.
That's how it works
for
me.
Nice process.
And there's plenty of places in town here to get them, but I'm actually making a run here shortly to go investigate some other beers out of state.
I like it. Little beer trip.
Prepare yourself.
I'm looking forward to it. So the Great Notion. Here we are. They offer hazy, fruit-forward IPAs, and they say culinary-inspired sours and stouts. They have 3 locations in Portland. A couple in Seattle, Washington, in the works. So the little known fact here, the brewery was named after Oregon's most famous novelist and novel, Ken Kesey's "Sometime a Great Notion."
I like it.
The book that they
Totally
named
interesting.
their brewery after. So let's get this show on the road. What do we got going on here?
That is a beautiful sound
I am a fan
of Fruit Monster series.
So what's the Fruit Monster?
The Fruit Monster is a sour, or it's ale. I was reading it right off the can before, but it's a series of tart ales with a rotating tropical fruit. And this one has, what was it? It was pineapple, tangerine, and passion fruit.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Schmitty the Monster on the front of the can.
Yeah, you know, the Great Notion, all of their cans, they have some of the best can art around.
Wow. It smells it smells really good.
You can definitely smell that passion fruit.
There's
Steve, you want
plenty of fruit.
take a smell there?
Yeah, Steve, just sniff. I'll drink
Sniffing
it. Don't
only.
worry. Yeah. You don't want to get him in trouble.
Wow, you can definitely just smell the
aroma is incredible.
It is.
It's
smell
just-
that
Holy.
passion fruit.
It is legit by
First drink there.
any.
Wow, that's phenomenal. It's definitely not too acidic either. You know
Oh man, that fruit is. I think that's one of the best fruit beers I've ever tasted.
I would agree. I really like how the passion fruit comes through there. It's definitely an explosion of fruit. What do you got going on in there? Pineapple, definitely.
Pineapple, definitely. Pineapple, tangerine, and passion fruit.
Yeah, I would have to say I am a fan of the. You can definitely taste all of the pineapple in there, and then that passion fruit on the back end is just overwhelming. That's
I got
amazing.
a lot of tangerine in my mouth. That is crazy good. I'm a big tangerine fan too. I mean, there's not too many people who are throwing that around, but it is good.
Definitely like that combination.
I kind of like that I look a little bit like Schmitty the Monster on the front of the can. So
I agree. Yeah, you. I would say you do look like Schmitty the Monster. Hey, so where'd you come up with these beers?
we had a friend that made a road trip, and he dropped me a line, texted me, and said, "Hey, do you want anything from Great Notion?" I said, "Absolutely." And he asked me what I want, and I said, "Whatever they've got, I will take."
I like it.
So
Yeah.
he rolled them down here and handed them over, and now we're drinking them, which is the best part.
I like it. So one thing we'll focus on moving forward is the availability of the beers that we're drinking. So Great Notion does like a lot of breweries in Southern California. They self distribute. They don't distribute through other. So you won't find them in a grocery store. You won't find them in a lot of beer stores or liquor stores.
If I made this, I wouldn't distribute it. I would drink it all.
Yeah.
That's how good it is. Wow.
But, occasionally we'll get some locally here at the Bottle Craft and Valley Farms. We'll
Definitely Valley Farm.
We'll occasionally we'll receive some. So a couple of the better beer stores in San Diego, we're able to occasionally get some cans. But these you didn't get locally. You got them from the brewery
Yeah.
by proxy.
Good buddy of mine picked them up for me.
I like it.
He was a great guy just to stop. He actually stopped at several breweries and picked beers up from here, from Great Notion, Humble Sea, Alvarado Street. So we'll be tapping into each and every one at some point.
I like it.
Sooner the better.
I'm with you on that. What do you think of that first beer?
The first beer is outstanding. The taste alone is ridiculously good. And the smell, you could just smell it all day. That's how good it is. Like I said, I wouldn't distribute this. I would just drink it.
It is an explosion. That was phenomenal. that was super, super tasty. I think I could drink those things laying around the pool all day long.
I like that I have a couple more of them.
I like that you have a couple more of them, too.
If I would have known it was that good, I would have bought several more cases, but they might be limited. I don't know. He didn't say anything about limitation on.
Yeah, the Great Notion, they you can actually download their app in the iPod or Apple store. Yeah, the Great Notion app. So you can order all of your beer right there. That what's the percentage on that beer over there? I can barely talk after.
Yeah, you're stuttering your words. It's 6%, which is fine with me. I'm happy to have anything. The alcohol content is that.
It definitely doesn't taste
important to me on something that's this tasty.
Yeah, you definitely didn't. I would have thought maybe 4 or 5%. But so with the Great Notion, they have their app that you can order beer from straight on their app, where they do all of their releases. You can either pick up at the brewery or you can have it delivered locally in Portland. But that was phenomenal, man. I would give that a 4.75
out of what?
Out of a 5. Out of a 4.
I'm right up there. I might even be like 4.8. That's how right on this baby is. The color is fantastic. I mean, it looks like a orange.
I can't know. I'm trying to think of another beer that I had pineapple or tangerine in. Right, that's
a great blend of fruit right there.
Yeah, I love one of my favorite beers, Passion Pool. One of my go-tos. That's passion fruit, and you definitely taste a little bit of that here, but certainly with the pineapple and the tangerine, I think put that over the top.
Well, you get the acidity you'd think from the pineapple, which there's none. It just tastes. I think that's the great sweetness of it. But then you have the tangerine, which is a tart, and I don't know that passion fruit is that tart, is it? I mean, alone by itself?
No, I know. I
so
don't
you're getting
think.
the tartness from, maybe the passion fruit, but mostly from that tangerine. And whatever tangerines they use are magnificent. I mean, that's what I'm grabbing out of there mostly. I mean, I can't, separate the fruit, but I am definitely sure that I'm getting some tangerine for sure.
It's a dang good beer.
Smells amazing.
I like it, Charlie. Good selection. I hope my selection holds up.
We're going to find out real quick, aren't we?
I think we should. That's my hint for you to go bottoms up with that one.
Yeah, don't wait on me.
Oh, I won't.
So I'm not here to watch.
My beer looks like what's actually my beer that I got from you that you got from the same guy that brought your beer. But
good call.
The beer that I chose to introduce here or to bring in is Mango Ripe. So it's an India Pale Ale with mango. So we're going to stay with that fruit. But Ripe is so the base beer here, Ripe, is a hazy IPA with Citra hops. So another one of my favorite
like me
hops.
Some citrus.
I'm a fan. When it's done right, when Citra hops are done right.
I think it's going to be done pretty right.
So this beer is a Citra with mango.
Crack it.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, that's a lovely sound.
My favorite. Let's see. Nice little pour here. So, speaking of the Great Notion.
It's got a little foggy, little murky to it.
A few years ago, I was actually just when we were talking about doing these beers, I was thinking about Great Notion the first time I had their beers, and the Festival of Funk a couple years ago when I had a couple buddies come down from Portland, would have been like 2017.
I remember
that summer, and they brought a couple of beers, and one of the beers they brought was a collab from Great Notion, Fort George, and Reuben's Brews. It was phenomenal. It was great. And then a couple months later, I told those same guys, I met up with them. We were going rafting down and I met up with them in Vegas for we were going on this raft trip, and they brought a couple of crowlers. At that point, it was crowlers only. And those guys, they would announce on Instagram that they would do 50 crowlers of this beer and 50 crowlers of these beers. And one of those guys, Jer, he actually worked right down the road from the brewery. So when he would see that on Instagram, it was time for him to go to the bathroom. And
take a break.
He'd come back with a couple of beers. So I thank
Screaming
him
down the sidewalk.
He brought a couple of those, and we had these great dreams of cracking these beers in the Grand Canyon, and we met up at the MGM on a Thursday night, and by Thursday night, all of our crowlers were gone.
Sounds like trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pack them anywhere. You drank them.
Yeah, no, for sure. We were super bummed, though, when we were drinking some beers that we had found on the raft a couple days later. You know, we didn't have any great notion to drink in the bottom of the canyon.
That's terrible. That's a tragedy.
For sure.
What do you think of this one?
Definitely smell the mango right up.
I'm not getting that much mango. Because that other
the mouthfeel on that's phenomenal. You definitely taste the mango. The back end of it is definitely stone fruit there.
It tastes really good. I mean, there's not too many times like
smooth.
I mean, I've never even had this beer before, and it's very, very good. That's an all-day drinker right there. What do we got on?
It's definitely
what's
definitely
alcohol by
super
volume here?
So the alcohol there, what are we, about 7? I'm guessing 7%. 7%. Yeah, it's 7% there.
That's an all-day drinker.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Super smooth.
So that I would say the same thing, that it's just pillowy soft with just a little.
Absolutely pillowy
taste
soft.
that citra hop, and then the back end just hits you in the mouth with that mango.
I like mango. Mango's good.
I'm a fan.
It's
I could
underrated
definitely
fruit, in my opinion, especially for beer.
I agree. So that if I was
now, I'm getting mango.
Yeah,
took a couple
warm up
sips,
a little bit. Yeah, that's a phenomenal beer. The I don't think I've ever had ripe like their the base beer of that, which is just citra hops, hazy. But
does it say hazy on there?
It does, yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. It is definitely hazy.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's absolutely a good hazy IPA. I think that mango might be a little bit too much for me. It's great beer. I love the mouthfeel, but I think I'd like to make a run with just the regular ripe.
What's the regular ripe? Without the fruit?
Yeah, without the fruit. Kind of like
well, if we get any of it, we'll put them up against each other.
I'd like to actually try any of their beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but the availability.
If we have any mules that are coming down the coast. Oh, speaking of coming down the coast.
That's right. I do. I have a beer mule inbound. He left Oregon yesterday.
Perfect.
So we actually made a beer trade a couple of weeks ago. My daughter spent the summer in Salem, and she got to know this family, and so Brian, Brian the hop farmer, he's actually
Brian Hop.
Some of his hops have been used locally in a few beers.
Modern Times, wasn't it?
Yeah, Modern Times and Pure have used a couple of his beers. So maybe, but he's sent me down a little care package, a couple of bottles of wine from his winery, and then some beers from up there. So we'll definitely partake in some of those. And Brian, I thank you. Looking forward to those beers.
Me too. Me three, actually. I'm looking forward to some beers, that's for sure. But this beer on my what do we give the other one? I said a 4.8 on the Monster.
Yeah, I went 4.75 on the
Fruit Monster.
The Fruit Monster.
And this one is a 4.5. I like it a lot. I mean, I'd drink more of it.
It's very well done beer. I just think
I don't think they make too many bad beers, to be honest with you.
I think the mango just it's a little bit too much mango for me.
I don't know. It didn't hit me till like the third drink, and now I'm not smelling it by any means, but it smells like a hoppy or a hazy beer when you're smelling it like something else that we've had before. But the taste is right there, and then I'm getting the mango.
So we mentioned the on yours. What was your guy's name? The character on
Schmitty.
Schmitty. So on Mango Ripe, they got this
The rotating fruit?
So they got the same skeleton. The same skeleton that's on Ripe and a couple of their other beers. But he looks like the Goonies. What's his name? The skeleton in the Goonies. I forget his name. Steve, you got an answer?
Bubba?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's
I haven't watched the Goonies in probably 30 years, so.
That's a great movie.
I got nothing, but it is a great movie.
It is a great movie. You know, it's Chester Coppertop or Chop Copperfield or whoever it is when they get down and he's a skeleton. I think he's sitting on the side of this Mango Ripe can.
I like it.
I do like it.
I'd drink this every day.
I would definitely. I would certainly drink it again. I think if it was standing next to a 4-pack of Ripe, I think I'd run on the base beer vice the mango ad.
Just like a little fruit in my beer sometimes.
I agree.
Probably more than not. I mean that Fruit Monster was absolutely ridiculous.
That was phenomenal.
I do have another one of those. So
another one of what?
The Fruit Monster.
Only one?
Shh.
Oh,
Don't tell anybody.
He's got more than one.
Start lighting that up. I'll be having hordes of people over here drinking my beer.
I like it.
That's my job is to drink my beer.
I like it. You do have a little bit of beer, Charlie.
I like beer. Beer is great.
Yes, I like it. So what else? What do we got going on next week?
Next week we are going to review Modern Times beer.
I am definitely a fan of Modern Times.
Are you now?
Yes.
I think anybody that's ever been there is a fan of Modern Times. Anybody that's ever had a beer from Modern Times is a fan of Modern Times. And if they aren't, there's something wrong with them. Because they make phenomenal beers, not from sours to hazies to IPAs to stouts to, whatever they put out is on a regular basis is legit. Really, really good stuff. But we haven't nailed it down to what is going to exactly be those beers, but that we're going to review. But I'm sure we can come up with something. You said you had something available, like a stout?
I do have. I have some stouts. I have a lot of stouts from Modern Times, and I definitely. I'm going to bring the heat next week, Charlie.
I think I'm going to bring a big bottle.
Yeah, you're gonna.
So one of those 750. Is it 750 mil?
Yeah.
We'll crack one of those 750s, 740s. That's what it is, right?
And now, I'm gonna bring a stout. I think
I'm gonna go something a little different. Something
looking forward to it.
We're gonna go from one to the other. So we'll probably end up hitting mine first because yours is a stout. So we're gonna go in the regulatory order of drinking beer, I guess, from light to dark. But it'll be good. Trust me. That one. I like it when we pop a big bottle.
Yeah, no, I'm
Steve, there'll be plenty for you if you like, too. I mean, afterwards, of course.
Definitely a fan of any amount of beer.
Yeah, there's no recording and drinking at the same time.
No, yeah, we found
so
that
after
out
last week, Steve fired himself from drinking. So now it's previously it was Steve was going to be our tiebreaker on which beer was better. I guess
not
now
this week.
Just me and Charlie will have to agree. So Charlie, which of those two beers do you like more? Number 1 or number 2?
Gosh, I scored them as just a couple of percentage points away from each other, but dang, that Fruit Monster is super, super tasty. I mean, the other one is great. Don't get me wrong, because I am a hazy freak, but that tangerine in there just did it for me.
I would agree. I'd say that Fruit Monster was just walked away. It
hit on every cylinder.
It did. It did. No, that was phenomenal. It was very, very good. So so next week, as Charlie mentioned, we're going to look at a couple of beers from Modern Times.
I mean, are we limited to a couple? I mean...
Gosh, I could see next week certainly going off the rails.
Because I have a surprise right here, if you can see that one sitting there in front of you.
Should we pop that guy while we kind of wrap this up and try to get off the line? Before,
I insist upon it.
What do you got there?
That is some Humble Sea. You tell me what's on the label. It's a crowler.
So Charlie has here a crowler, 32-ounce crowler from the Humble Sea. It's an SOS Costa Rica pastry stout, weighing in at
700 pounds.
%. Yeah.
It's a big hitter, man.
Yeah, no, that beer didn't come to watch. But that definitely...
Holy stout.
Yeah, no, that's...
that thing's just frothing there. Look at that pour. Wow. Good technique, Chris.
Did you see that? You thought it was going all over that carpet.
Super impressed.
Well, so did I.
Shovel it on over here for me. Appreciate it.
I like it.
You heard of football, right? Pass it.
Yeah, pass. Football's coming up. Baseball season just started. Twins looked phenomenal yesterday.
Padres won. Yeah.
Yeah, 7-1.
Yeah, it was an awesome game.
Did they? They got all over them, huh?
Hosmer crushed 2 off the wall for bases loaded doubles. It was entertaining to say the least.
Yeah. The Vikings got all over the White Sox, and then today got just worked.
Vikings got all over
Twins,
the Twins.
I'm sorry.
Make up your
It's
mind
that early
what
onset
sport you're talking about.
Alzheimer's.
That's why we talk about beer.
I'm looking forward to football.
Smell that rosy little...
Although I did buy the MLB package, so I can watch some...
It's smelling pretty delicious.
Live baseball.
So should we cover this one real quick? Humble Seek?
We should. Go. What do you think of that, Charlie? So it's a pastry stout. Let's see what they...
Holy stout. That's good. That is good. You know, it needs to warm up a little bit, I think. Caramely.
Definitely taste that
molasses
coffee.
Or caramel in there. Is what I'm
Coffee
getting.
just punch you in the mouth.
Super smelly. I can't wait till next week. I got some good ones, man. I'm breaking out some giant bottles, man.
Let's see what we got. I just want to pull up a quick rundown off of Untapped on this stout. So they got a Costa Rican single origin imperial stout with coffee, vanilla, cacao from the Tarrazú region. They say they designed the single origin stout series in a brave attempt to capture the terroir, the terroir of the regions around the world. Our first journey into the SOS project is Costa Rica, a Central American country where the members of our team have lived, brewed, and made personal connections.
I like some coffee from Costa Rica.
That's a right-up that fitting of that big beer.
It's legit. It's definitely look at it. It's just sticking to the sides of the glass there, man.
It's certainly got some viscosity, right?
Definite viscosity.
It's thick. It's very good. I mean, you definitely, it's like chocolate and
run
coffee.
This in the Bronco, it's got so much viscosity.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of stouts and just how complex
Good, because we got another
be.
30 ounces left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That is some big cannon.
I would agree. There certainly is. That's a big beer. We're gonna have to send some of that home for with Steve.
Yeah.
So the what else do you know, Charlie?
Ziploc for him. What else is coming up?
What else do you know?
What else do I know other than I'm heading out on the trail for a run for beer? I'll be hitting Texas. I'll be hitting Virginia. I'll be hitting Baltimore. And if I really, really, really can get away, I am actually going to delve into New York City.
Really?
And the Bronx. You know what's in New York City and the Bronx?
What is the other half?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to stop and get some other half beer?
You know what? I've just been having a hankering for their stouts. I mean, I'm reading the labels on these beers, and it's just driving me nuts. I got to have some. So, I mean, I've had their hazies, which are phenomenal, but I'm definitely jonesing for those stouts. They just look incredibly. Just the description of them gets my mouth watering. I'm ready to go. I may make the 4-hour journey from Arlington to New York City, and just, it's just going to be a drive-by type thing where I pull up, throw as much beer as I can in the back of the car, and drive away and head home.
So you're going to Arlington?
I will be in Arlington, yes.
How far is it from Arlington to San Diego?
Well, it's pretty far. It's
about
a long
2,500 miles, 24.
Well, it depends on which way I go. I mean, If I'm hitting breweries, it turns into 4,400 miles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If it's
only like 3,000 miles.
But you're going to make it a 4,500 mile trip.
I've been known to bounce around like a pinball machine at times for scrounging for beer. I mean, the last trip it was The Answer, Raw Brewing in Baltimore, and back to The Answer. And then from there, I went to 450 North.
That's right. Nick came through.
Oh, that was a beautiful.
I gave you that far,
Let me tell you, if you go to that place, you are out in the boonies. Let me tell you, there is nothing around that place. And I got a chance to speak to the owner for a couple of minutes, the woman there, and her and her husband own it, and I guess her sons brew the beer. And they started as a winery. I didn't even know they had a winery there. I was like, holy crap, you got a winery here.
And a cidery.
Yeah, and cider. They had legit
got a couple
cider.
bottles of cider.
Yeah, they were good. Because you said
stuff.
so, because I'm not your cider aficionado by any means.
Yeah, no,
I'm not any aficionado by any means.
Suzanne really, really liked that.
That's all that matters.
One of them didn't have a label. I expected them to be the same thing.
They weren't.
One of them was the base. And that was the one that we drank first, and the second one was lights out. It was so good.
That place is a destination. I told her, I said, you should build like a what do they call it, bed and breakfast or something right here, because it's the place to be, man. The food is amazing. The beer is outstanding. It's just they're ridiculous what they're doing with beer there, and you can't really pick up any beer there. Their specialty releases are only on release. So when you're getting there, you can buy crowlers of whatever they have on tap. And I tasted everything they had on tap. And that's something we'll get into later, because I asked, just because I was driving, I didn't want to be drinking a bunch of beer and driving. So
sure.
I was...
it's a good call.
I was definitely confused when the gal, she goes, oh, and we're going to get into that. The amount of alcohol in beer, I mean, people were seriously getting freaked out about that. And we're going to get into that.
Are you talking about the when they're the whole alcohol content of their...
Yeah, because I asked because I was driving. I could care less how much beer and alcohol is in the beer. I just was driving, so I needed to know. So if I'm going to taste this, this stout or whatever, and it's 15% alcohol, well, I don't really want to drink, a whole, pint of
a crowler full of something that's 14%. Same way I feel.
Yeah, and I said, I just told her. She goes, oh, she was saying something. And I said, well, no, I just need to know because I got to drive to my hotel from here. And she goes, we had a problem or whatever. I don't. Exactly remember.
So she was referencing it was a while back where their 450 North makes these fruited, they're fruited sours, right? They're Berliners. Fruited Berliners.
Smoothies, slushies.
Slushy, yeah, the slushy series.
Slushy.
And there was a big deal where they were putting on the side of the can, they were saying it was X amount of alcohol, and then when they tested it, it was far, far lower. I think that's what she was probably referencing.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a problem, but
yeah,
I wasn't concerned with that.
Yeah, no,
and so I mean, we can get into that.
We'll get into that. Let's get some 450 North beer on the way back, and we'll definitely talk about that story. And so we look, I think on that note, Charlie, a couple of things we want to go over real quick. A little bit of housekeeping.
Let's do it.
All right. So feel free to give us a follow once again at the podcast or Podcraft on all social media platforms. That's at the Podcraft on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, thepodcraft.com. Feel free to give us questions or feedback or holler at us with or beer or anything you'd like us to kind of focus on or questions you'd like us to delve into. You can reach us at the Podcraft at podcraftpodcast@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, or anything more. The links to all of these and everything mentioned in today's podcast will be in the show notes at thepodcraft.com. The website also has links that you need to subscribe to the podcast and the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which at this point we're currently having an issue with, but you can hear our podcast at thepodcraft.com or wherever you're listening to this from. Charlie, anything else?
Nope, I'm good. I'm just going to finish off this beer.
Yeah, on that note, we got about 26 ounces of that stout. So we'll hopefully we're done before next recording.
But on that, knock this out pretty quick, actually.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks a lot.
The Podcraft podcast is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution, Share Alike 4.0 International. All rights reserved 2020. The podcast is produced by aztecmedia.net. If you have questions, please email thepodcraftpodcast@gmail.com. Fair use notice. Reference material and media have been placed within this medium for information, educational, and discussion purposes only in compliance with the fair use criteria established in Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. It should also be noted that the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the participants and are not endorsed by the participants' previous, current, or future employers or advertisers.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.